Hey guys. uh, welcome to Trashy Stupid Fun. Today I have a big episode. And I don't know if you guys follow the Facebook page I have set up, but I'm going to talk about the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I recently finally saw the rest of them. I'd only seen parts one through 3, and then New Nightmare. I had never seen parts 4 through 6. Oh, and I'd seen Freddy vs. Jason. So let's see. Let's go through all the movies. I'm just going to go one by one. Just my feelings on each one, basically. I love the first one. The first one, if you're not familiar with Nightmare on Elm Street, I don't know. You should know the premise. It's the basic premise is, a guy stalking teenagers in their dreams and or in their nightmares and killing them. They die in real life and everything. And it's a great premise and a great villain in Freddy Krueger, or at least in the first few movies, or at least in the first movie and the third and the New Nightmare. In those at least he was pretty scary. In the very first one, for sure, he was scary. The thing that worked in the first movie and maybe even New Nightmare is that they knew how much to use. Wes Craven knew how much of Freddy to use. And I think he also directed the third one because he wanted to stop the movies. He didn't want any more sequels, and that didn't really stop New Line. So, but yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, in the first one, what made the first one really scary is that they didn't use Freddy a whole lot. They used him, but they didn't, show him. He wasn't on screen a lot, which was nice. Kind of like in the Hellraiser movies, the Cenobites don't show up till near the end or so. But yeah, that's what I liked about the first one. And you have your leading the leading woman, Heather Langenkamp, who played Nancy, and she's great. She was the survivor of the first movie, or the last girl she's one of many scream queens of horror. And she brought, I don't know, she's just really good. I just really like her portrayal of Nancy, and, she plays it very, very vulnerable, And if you don't know about Freddy Krueger, the basic thing with Freddy is that, aside from, the nightmare world and how he's most powerful in the nightmare world and everything, is that he was a child murderer and it was implied that he was a molester, too. It's kind of implied in that why he was targeting kids. And, they kind of touched upon it in New Nightmare, I think. I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've watched that one. I need to watch that one again. I love New Nightmare. That one just really creeps me out. But yeah, I'll get back to that one. What I like about the first one is that, or just the basic thing with Freddy Krueger is that he was a child killer, and that all the parents found out about it, and he got off. He was put on trial, but he got off on technicality or something, and he was set free. And then so the parents gang up on him, and kill him, and set him on fire. So he's burned, and in the nightmare world, he's scarred and ugly and scary, and that works. And I just I like all the the deaths are really creative. I'm not going to go one by one and talk about all the deaths. Even though I do like that opening one. If you can't get through the movie, if you can't get past that first kill, it's just it's much easier to watch the rest of it, I think. But yeah, if you can't get past the first kill, because it's really brutal. It's her best, her best friend gets killed, and the way she gets killed is just really brutal. And I don't think they, like with the remake, I don't think they did that scene justice. It was just far more gruesome in the movie. It's just, I don't know. And the way she gets dragged across the ceiling, and they didn't do that in the remake, which is kind of a good thing, but kind of just, I did not like the remake. If I had to pick a side, I didn't totally hate it, but I didn't totally love it. But if I had to pick a side, I hated it. I didn't care for the remake. Anyways, moving on to part 2. Part 2 is just, oh god, it's bad, but it's a fun bad, because it's just, I don't know what was going on. There's a documentary that talks about the second movie, because there's a lot of homoerotic imagery in that movie. because the main guy comes off as, as a closeted gay man, basically. And, yeah. And Freddy, just... I don't know. But, yeah, there's just, yeah. Freddy wants to come out of him, or wants to use his body to come out, or whatever. I don't know. There's just a little bit bad jokes there, but I don't know. It's just, but yeah. And then you have, you have his kind of a pedo of a gym teacher, and I don't know. It's just, yeah. It is what it is. Not my favorite, but it's kind of fun in a bad way. It's a bad, fun movie. And I rewatched that. I rewatched most of it on TV, and I'm just like, what? Because apparently the director had no idea of the gay subtext in the movie. The writer did. The writer did intentionally. I've heard. I need to watch the documentary of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, but I've heard that. I'm really curious about that. But yeah, that is what it is. And then you come to part 3. And, the second one kind of didn't ignore the events of the first movie. They just didn't, nobody came back from that movie, except for Robert Englund, of course. So then you come back to the third one, and Heather came back for that one. Because I believe Wes Craven directed the third one, too. Or he had more to do with it than the second one. Other than the characters and everything, and the setting. So then we come back to the third one, and Heather is back, and she finds that there are kids. There's a psychic girl dreaming about her house, and made a diorama of it. And she's played by Patricia Arquette. And we find that she could pull people into her dreams, and they can fight Freddy. And it's really great. I really liked part 3, even though I don't want to get too much into it because I don't know how many people have seen these movies, but I just hate when they bring back a character just to kill them off. Even though that kind of gives it away, but I'm just saying I hate when they do that. And they did that in the following movie. They brought some of the kids back, or some of the characters back from part 3 into part 4, and they killed them off. And I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna give that away. It's like they killed them off in the right away. And so this one, the third one is called Dream Warriors. The second one is called Freddy's Revenge. This one is Dream Master. And so we meet a new girl who's brought into this, and finds out about Freddy, and I don't know. It's just another way of killing people off in their dreams, kind of thing. But it was interesting. Part 4 is interesting. It wasn't that great, but it was fun in its own way. One of my favorite death scenes in that movie is this kid he's on his waterbed. It's just basically he just gets pulled into his waterbed and killed, basically. But it's just the way it happens is really, I don't know. It's kind of akin to the way it was set up was very much like Johnny Depp's death scene in the first movie, which I forgot to mention he was in that. But if you know Johnny Depp's career, he was in that movie. But yeah. But yeah, I love the waterbed death scene, and there's some other. I don't remember all the death scenes in the fourth one because now that I'm thinking about all the movies, they kind of blend together now. But I liked that death. I don't know. It's weird to say that, but that was my favorite of the death scenes. And there's just some fun stuff going on in the fourth one. I don't know. That's basically it. I can't remember everything about that, but yeah. Dream Master was okay, and then we come back and the main girl who was in the fourth movie comes back for the fifth movie. And this time around, she gets impregnated somehow by... her boyfriend from the fourth movie is in the fifth movie, and, he got her pregnant somehow. But somehow, Freddy finds a way to work his way into, messing with the baby, so he'll become the baby or something, or he'll be reborn as the baby or something. It doesn't make any sense. The fifth one kind of lost me. But then, by the time I got to part 6, Freddy's dead. I was like, okay, I want the fifth one. I want to watch the fourth and fifth one again, because, God, Freddy's Dead is awful. Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare, awful, awful, awful. It's just, you got Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold in it for no reason. Just random people. And for some reason, the town there's no kids in the town anymore. They've all been killed by Freddy or some crap. It doesn't make any sense. It's like he only had to kill the certain people who tried to kill him, and I don't know. It makes no sense. And this kid has to go thinks he's Freddy's kid because apparently Freddy had a kid. Oh god, there's so much crap in this one. This one lost. Oh my god, this one totally. Oh my god. I don't know how to explain this movie because it's just awful. So much crap that it's just like, let's try to. I don't know. It's like, oh yeah, he had a kid apparently. It's a daughter. I'm gonna just give it away. This movie was crap. Because it doesn't make any sense. It's we're trying to explain Freddy too much. Oh god. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my god. They try to explain Freddy Krueger way too much, and that's what killed the remake for me. It's like they explained way too much as to why he's a serial killer and blah 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 blah. In this one, it was just it's like he had a daughter, but he tried to do stuff to her. And yeah, it's and she got taken away and blah 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 blah. And then when he got killed, when he was set on fire, he summoned these demon people so he can control nightmares and kill people however much he wants, so he'll never die. So oh god, it's such a pain to watch. I don't know why I watched the whole thing. It was painful. Some of the deaths were kind of god, oh god. Oh, you also had Breckenmeyer in the movie. Which that's this movie broke me, I think. Just thinking about it, it's like, oh my god. It's like I'd rather watch. I liked Freddy vs. Jason, which I'll get to that after I get to New Nightmare, because I forgot the way I watched these. Watching these was like, oh god, I probably could have skipped these, but I didn't want to. It's like I want to finally watch them, even though they're awful. But yeah, Freddy's dead. I need to calm down. Oh my god, though. I think one of the most interesting death scenes, was Breckenmeyer's death scene. He's zapped into a video game, and Freddy Krueger is just gleefully playing with him. It's really stupid. I don't know why it's just awful. Oh, and then there was a guy. One of the death scenes was a deaf guy. And it was so many stupid puns with his hearing, and just, it was awful, 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 awful. Okay, moving on. Okay, oh, jeez. Okay. Oh, jeez. Moving on to New Nightmare. Oh, God, New Nightmare is awesome. Because it's very meta, for one thing. It's, you can see how this inspired Scream, basically. I don't know who the screenwriter was, but it's just very awesome. Okay, the premise of New Nightmare is that, Wes Craven is, he's having nightmares about Freddy Krueger again. And, he wants to make a new Nightmare film, and he wants to bring Heather Langenkamp back, somehow. Even though, spoiler alert, she died in part 3. There, I said it, I'm sorry. There, it's like, there's done. Her character died in part 3. Nancy's dead, so, she's like, why would you want to do this, and why would you want to bring me back into, my character died. And she's like, well, this time I want to make it about how, Freddy Krueger what if he was real? And, what if he manifested himself into being real or something? And it's just a really creepy notion, and I'm getting tingles. I love this movie, because that's what happens in the movie. Freddy is real, and he's just, he's out to, I forget his motivation, but he's just out to kill anybody involved in making a Freddy Krueger movie, another one. It's so creepy. And Heather basically plays herself in this movie. Everybody plays themselves, only it's very different because it's a movie. I just love it. And you have Robert Englund back as Freddy, but then you also have him as himself, and it's just a great movie. Lots of scares, lots of more scares this time. He's still kind of the funny Freddy from the bad sequels. When he got funny, he got less scary. But this movie made him scary again. And just, great movie. And then you have, with Heather, you have her. She has a son, and he's played by Miko something. I can't think of his name, but he was in the Kindergarten Cop and Pet Cemetery, and he plays her son, and he's getting nightmares about Freddy too now. So it's very interesting. I love how meta it is. Now that I know that word, because they make references to what's going to happen in this movie, and then it happens in the actual movie. I don't know. I love that kind of thing, because you can definitely see how this movie was Wes Craven's comeback in a way, and that spawned the Scream movies, and without New Nightmare, without Freddy Krueger at all or anything, you wouldn't have the great Scream movies, which I love. I love all 4 Scream movies. Part 3 and maybe 4 aren't, or 4 is pretty solid. 4 is definitely better than Part 3, but I love all the Scream movies. I love Wes Craven's Twisted Mind. Yeah. And just to touch on it, I loved Freddy vs. Jason, and that was before I never saw the Friday the 13th movies before that. But I just got a kick out of it. It is what it is. It's a cheesy mashup, or whatever. It's just a fun movie for what it was. It's Freddy vs. Jason. How else do you play that? It's going to be a little campy, a little silly. It was a lot of fun. I like Freddy vs. Jason. I wouldn't mind owning all these movies, even though some of them are really stupid. But I wouldn't mind buying those sets that have all 8 movies and 4 movie set, 2 little sets that have 4 movies on them. 'Cause they're fun for what they are. I prefer. There's some I prefer more than others, obviously. But yeah, love the Nightmare on Elm Street. The Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Hate the remake, but yeah, they're fun. And God, you know what? Since I'm going, I'm just gonna. This is already a long episode. I really want to touch on a movie I watched last night, really quick, or whatever. Last night I watched Let's Scare Jessica to Death, and it was a interesting little movie. It's about this woman who was recently taken out of a psychiatric hospital or whatever, or released, and she goes to live in a cabin, or a remote house in the country. I forget why. I don't know if they explain it that well, but I guess they need money, so they go to this old house that they bought or something, and they want to sell stuff. But as they settle in, weird stuff starts to happen. This woman is hearing voices, and I don't want to give too much away because it was on TCM last night, or Turner Classic Movie Channel last night, or Turner Movie Classic. I don't know, but Turner. I love Turner. They show some great stuff on there on Friday nights, because that's how I saw House or Hasu. I loved that. But yeah, this was a good movie. She finds out that these people that used to live there, one of them may have been a vampire or something, even though that's kind of the legend of the town. And slowly but surely, people start dying around her. Or she sees people. She finds a guy killed, or she sees somebody in the water. Some of it, I'm just gonna give this away. It's not. Some of it seemed like it wasn't that clear if she was seeing these things, or if she was, really seeing these things, or if it was all in her head. I don't know. It's just really interesting. I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of babbling, but yeah, I liked that movie too. I liked Let's Scare Jessica to Death. It was an interesting. I like psychological thrillers, and that was a very psychological thriller. It was a horror, and that's all I've been watching lately. I've been watching a lot of horror movies lately, or scary movies, or thrillers. You know what? This is a long episode already. I also recently watched the David Lynch movie Lost Highway. I don't know why I want to talk about it, but I don't even know what it was about really. But I liked it. It's David Lynch at his craziest, and I don't know. I liked everybody in it, basically. Robert Blake was in it, and he was super creepy in it. It's this nowhere man, or I don't know. He was just really creepy. You didn't know if he was real or not. It was just, oh god. the whole movie was bizarre. A lot of his movies are like a nightmare. So somebody's nightmare. Because they make no sense. I don't know. They're just, I don't know. It's an interesting movie for sure. And I love David Lynch's doppelganger theme in all his movies, all his works. It just, I don't know. It's just very interesting. Yeah. Since I'm doing this, I enjoyed it for what it's. I don't know how to say I enjoyed a David Lynch movie, because sometimes they're just that, like, what am I watching? Because Eraserhead was that way. That one was really hard to watch. But this one at least made a little more. Well, not really. But yeah, I think Blue Velvet is still my favorite right now. I love Blue Velvet. That's such a good movie. I love it. So yeah, that's everything I want to talk about. Talked about Nightmare on Elm Street series. I talked about Let's Scare Jessica to Death. I talked about Lost Highway. I could wait to do another episode for a while now. I talked about everything I watched recently. Oh, I talked about Dolly Dearest last episode, and yeah. So until next time, I need a send-off thing. But I don't know, I like bad movies. I don't know, I don't have a sign-off thingy. I don't need a sign-off thingy. Just until next time, bye-bye. And that's pretty much it. Oh, wow. Long episode.